Welcome to UTC. We're your hosts, Alexa.
Hi, guys.
And I'm Terrelyn.
Our first segment today is a mix of interviews that Connor, Caleb, and Terrelyn did with our track team.
Here's how it went.
My name is Coach Chestnut, Coach Damone Chestnut. I coach track and field and used to coach cross country here at West Creek High School.
This will be my 13th year coaching track here at West Creek High School. I've only coached track here at West Creek High School.
Hi, my name is Caleb.
Lavelle Finch. I am a track athlete.
Since the school opened though, primarily. So at West Creek for 9 and 10 years at least.
I decided to coach track because it was a position offered to me, and I just really thought that it'd be interesting and change of pace. I used to coach baseball, and it was a change of pace, and I looked. It was offered. I accepted, and I'm glad.
It started out accidentally. I ran track in high school. I ran 1 year at college at Buff State, and then I used to run on a private team when I was stationed over in Italy. When we came back to the States, my daughter was interested in track, and I quickly realized her track coach didn't know anything about coaching track. So I went becoming a track parent to the track coach, and I've been coaching ever since. I coach track like it's football. I'm probably the only coach in track around here anyway whose track uniforms have numbers on the back. I do bring an attack, aggressive tone to track because I want my athletes to attack the track, attack the clock, and not focus on the competition or anything that's going on in their personal life or within their peers. If you are trying to dominate the track and dominate the clock, everything else is second, it's not a problem. You're not focused on that. So track can be an opportunity just to get away.
Well, I ran track in high school, and so it was really one of those things that I had done it, was offered to me. I was comfortable in the fact that I had previously run. My brother also was a track runner, so it kind of was in the family, so it was just one of those things that was offered. I said, yeah, I'll try it, and I really fell in love with it.
I definitely get updated information every year. I take some type of in-service, so I'm improving myself, and I try to stay current with what's going on. I stay in the know of what's going on with culture as far as in my age group and high school age group. I have very open, honest conversation with my students and my athletes. And I've been coaching females pretty much all my career, and they pretty much keep me in check for the most part, yeah. They help me make a lot of decisions that they don't even know. So I feel like I have a pulse on the culture in my age group and the high school age group.
My coaching style is I like to have fun, but I like to work hard, play hard, meaning I'll joke around with the kids, but when it comes time to practice, we're going to practice hard, but we're going to have fun while we're practicing hard.
I try. I don't think I'm always successful in that, but I do try. I also feel like people have to put forth more effort, have to be honest with themselves. I'm super honest with myself, so I know my strengths and my weaknesses. So I try to get students to look at their strengths and their weaknesses, so at any point or any time I don't, fulfill my obligation or do a good enough job, they're welcome to question me on it. I have no problem with that, but they also have to question themselves. Are they putting forth as much effort as me, or if not more? I shouldn't be more motivated than those who have to run.
We just really promote when kids do good. When they do a personal best, they might not win the race, but if they did a personal best, we celebrate personal bests, personal records. When we win a track meet, we don't win as individuals, we win as a team. So we add all those elements in there.
I think truth, honesty, and just being real, being real honest about life, people. And I had to learn that many high school students are not running track because they want to run track in college. A lot of them are running to be a part of a team, to challenge themselves personally, and to get away for whatever is bothering them. Some people just don't want to go home and babysit their younger brother and sister, and track is their outlet. I understand that. I respect that. And as long as they can give me 110% and want to grow and be a better person, I'll accept those students as well.
All right, we're good.
My favorite athlete is C.D. Lamb, and the reason he is C.D. Lamb is because he tries to be the best when he can be the best, and he just inspires me to do great things in the world.
Sha'Carri Richards, because of the background that she comes from, how she is transpiring in the track community and expressing herself.
All right, before a meet, I'll sit in the bleachers, prepare, get my mind right, listen to a couple songs, stretch, and then after, I evaluate myself on how I did, what I can do better in the next meet to move on. I balance being a student athlete by studying, I break down my times of studying and study each subject different than the other.
Time management and communication with teachers and stuff.
One thing I learned from this video is track is a lot of work.
I can't wait to see how they do this year. And if you want any more information on the track team, contact Coach Chestnut.
Just like we like to spotlight our sports here at West Creek, we like to spotlight our amazing teachers as well.
The teacher that was chosen for this episode was the AV instructor and golf coach, Mr. King.
Here's Jacob, Hector, and I for more on Mr. King and what he does here at West Creek.
What's going on, Coyotes? This is Alexa from Unleash the Creek. I'm sitting down with an exclusive interview with Coach King that you won't find anywhere else. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic today. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So the first question I have for you today is, can you give a brief explanation of what you teach? Because lots of people don't understand what this class is really about.
So my class set is called AV or Audio Visual. It's basically a broadcasting style class where we're going to teach you about how a lot of the broadcasting industry works, along with teaching you how my equipment works with the cameras, TriCaster boards, audio boards, teleprompter. Even this is a new exclusive room that has kind of just opened this year, the podcasting studio. Still a little bit of a work in progress, but for the most part, it's good to go. It's a really fun class set. If you really give it an opportunity and you work hard, you can have a lot of fun. You can take a lot of pride in posting a lot of videos on YouTube, and you can learn a lot as well. And the whole point of this is to try to be career ready when you walk out of my door after you take AV3. So hopefully we're getting that done for all of our students here.
I love that explanation. Really describes the class.
It's a fun class. If you give it a chance, it's a really fun class.
Yeah, it really is. And I also heard that you're the golf coach here at West Creek. Do you think you'll be able to bring a rise in golf for West Creek?
I think so. I think golf hasn't really been let's just say it how it is. Golf is not a popular sport. It's a very niche sport. Mm-hmm. Even on some of the competitive teams that I've seen around all of Tennessee, there's only a handful of kids on that team at one time, and these kids were winning state championships. So I have some really good golfers. I really do. This is the largest golf program that West Creek has ever had, even since it opened in 2009, and it was only my first season. We didn't have anybody make it to the regional tournament, but we did have one golfer who was only just a few strokes off from getting there, and he's only been playing a year. So give him another year, and that's Manny Mendez. He's awesome. We also have Braden Frost, he started playing golf. He played a little bit, but not much. He's made a huge stride this year, and I expect him to do great things in the next coming 2 years of his eligibility. Evan Magnuson has been he's been pretty good as well. He's made a lot of big strides, and I think he can make even more because he's a hard worker as well. And then we have Aspen Barentine, who has been on the team, our lone female golfer. She's made a lot of big strides as well, and I can't wait to see how she works out. We have a bunch of other new golfers, Judah Last. Now that I'm on the spot, I'm not going to be able to think of all of them. Daniel Malloy, and it's going to come, I think, Daniel Ramirez. So there's a few more people on the team, and I'm always looking for more golfers. You just got to have your own clubs.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, on top of that, since the golf season has ended, do you think that there will be future accomplishes or great things for the future of West Creek Golf?
I think so. It's going to take time, but I really think that we will have a team that will, who knows, maybe in 2 or 3 years, we'll have an entire team make it to region as a team. But the way golf works is, as much as it's a team sport, it's also an individual sport where just because your team doesn't perform, that doesn't mean you can't move on. So we may not win as a team next year, but we could have 2 or even 3 individuals go in to the region tournament as individual golfers. Yeah. So looking forward to that opportunity, to say the very least. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think with the competition, the way our district is set up, I think it's definitely feasible, especially with the talent group that I have.
Yeah, definitely. How long do you plan on teaching golf?
Man, I've been playing the game since I was 2 years old. So, yeah. So,
That's crazy.
I mean, as long as I'm here, I'm probably going to end up being the golf coach because it's just something that I love. It's my first ever passion in life has always been golf because it's just the one sport for some reason I gravitated to. I played other sports. I played football, played basketball, but there was just something about golf that I was just better at than anybody else that I played against at that time when I was young. I mean, I was like 6 years old playing against like 12-year-olds in tournaments and still doing just as good as they were. Like it was wild. But you know, I think as long as I'm here, I don't see me going anywhere as a golf coach. I want to try to build something here at West Creek, and me moving on, I don't think will allow that to happen. So
yeah, that's good.
I'm here for the long haul.
Is like teaching or coaching something that you've always wanted to do, or was it something else?
So it's actually pretty crazy because before I took this job here at West Creek, I was kind of in a crossroads in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do. Do I want to stick with radio broadcasting, which is what I'd been doing? Do I want to move on to someplace else? Or do I want to think about becoming a PGA teaching professional? I mean, that was on the table as well. And I knew I could do it. I just had to take a couple classes and play a few rounds to get qualified and be good with it. And I pretty much had a job if I got all my qualifications done. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't pull the trigger on any of them. I was just like waiting to see what would happen. And then West Creek called, and I came here, and in my first year, this is my second year, I'm coaching golf. So now I have a better job with students that I do really like, and it gives me a sense of purpose, at least more than I did. And on top of that, I get to coach golf. I get to teach golf. So
Yeah.
I waited a little bit, and now I have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's good. At least you got double what you wanted.
I know it.
Did you go to college for anything that you teach now?
So
or did you go for something
I
else?
actually I attended Austin Peay State University. I got my bachelor's degree in communications with a concentration in sports broadcasting. So I went through their communications department where they have an amazing TV and radio production team there. At that time, it was Professor Bullis was there. I can't remember her name, Miss Terrell. David Von Palco is the radio guy there. He's awesome. Barry Gresham, he's the head of the sports broadcasting department there, and an incredible sports broadcaster, to say the very least. And Steve, I want to say his last name is Salyers. Steve Salyers is a tech guru, the engineer there. I love that program. Austin Peay has an outstanding broadcasting program. That's where I would like to send a lot of my kids to, because I know that they'll be treated right when they walk in the door. They're going to be hands-on with the equipment. As a freshman, you're going to be filming D1 football and basketball games. I mean, you can't on ESPN. I mean, you can't do much better than that for a school right down the road for as cheap as Austin Peay can be. Like, you could go to some place like a Clemson or something whose one of the best broadcasting schools in the nation, but you're paying so much out of pocket. Like,
Yeah.
So that I like Austin P. It was really good to me.
Yeah, it's a pretty good school. A little off-topic question. What's your favorite food of all time?
Ooh, favorite food. See, this is easy, though, for me. Steaks.
Really?
I've been really big into trying to figure out the best way to cook steaks and different cuts of them and how it all works together, different types of cooking methods, and it's been crazy watching a lot of videos about it. Definitely steaks, without a doubt. It's a bit expensive, but you get used to it.
So, like, if you had to have one food to eat for, like, the rest of your life, it would be steak?
Yeah.
Really?
Without a doubt.
I think that would get boring over time.
No, there's so many different ways to cook it.
What's your favorite hobby?
Ooh. See, that's a good one. Obviously, would you count golf a hobby?
Yeah.
So I like golf, but I would say mostly in my free time, like I'm done grading, I'm done making assignments, I'm done lesson planning. I'm just sitting down. You already know I'm playing video games. It's the one thing that I can sit back and turn my brain off and just forget about everything bad and just be in my own little world, and it's fantastic.
What's your favorite game?
Ooh, see, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because there hasn't been a lot of great games come out lately.
What system do you have?
So I've gotten back a little bit into Destiny. I'm big into Escape from Tarkov. I'm a PC player, but I also have Xbox. So I play Madden. I play NHL. But I'd say probably Escape from Tarkov, Destiny 2, Rocket League. Big into Rocket League.
Yeah,
Champ 2.
Game.
Nothing crazy.
If you didn't play golf, like, at any time during your career or coach it or whatever, what other sport would you play a lot?
I would say football. I'm a football junkie.
Really?
Yes. Like I talked to Coach Figueroa about if I wasn't the golf coach and if I wasn't, because golf kind of goes into the first part of the football season. And he actually used to be the golf coach a few years ago, I believe. But if I wasn't the golf coach, I would be, and if I didn't have to, which eventually we're going to start doing sports productions, if that wasn't the case, I'd be trying to be a football coach in some capacity, like quarterback coach or.
Would you ever play it?
Well, I mean, even though I'm in prime physical condition right now, I don't think I could compete with the big boys anymore. But no, I probably wouldn't play it. I enjoy watching it. I definitely enjoy watching it, but I love like teaching. I found that teaching is a big. I enjoy getting people through a process and watching people grow, and I just love the game of football. So I would love to do that, but unfortunately, circumstances of this class and other things that I already coach won't allow me to do that. So at least I'll be a spectator and then root them on from the stands.
At least you get to do other things. Yeah. What did you do before you started teaching here at West Creek?
I was actually a radio personality and engineer at. It used to be all the old people in the school will know it as WJZM. But it was WV, WB, 105.5 The Bull, 105.1 The Wolf, 103.9 The Bear. It was all kind of labeled under the one consolidated media group. It was a local station here in Clarksville. Unfortunately, it's no longer there. After I left, it kind of went away and actually traveled. They kind of consolidated media, but they consolidated everything into one station and moved it to Dixon. Mm-hmm. So, but I was operating a show there, covering high school football for the last 3 years. I engineered a show called Sports Talk that had been on the radio for Lord knows how long. And then just doing other things like Sunday morning content and downloading shows for the rest of the week for the radio. But, yeah, I was big into the radio side for a little while there.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Did you have fun while doing it?
Oh, yeah, I had a lot of fun. I mean, getting to sit down in a chair just in front of a microphone and talk for a living, like, that was really cool for a long time.
Yeah.
I just think at that point in time, like, it was fun, but it was an experience I needed to, I think, get to the point where I am now. But that was definitely a stepping stone portion of my life now that I look back on it, because it wasn't I loved the people that worked there, but it just didn't work out. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like you had an interesting life.
Yeah.
Sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Coyotes, there you have it. Your production teacher and golf coach, Mr. King. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, that was a great interview.
It really was. I learned a lot about the man. The last segment for today was put together by Tyler, Landon, and Desmond.
This package is about the yearbook class and its staff.
Here at West Creek, we have the most ambitious and pristine yearbook club. And over here is their classroom where they work on the yearbook. So, y'all can just follow me and we can go there and check what they're doing today. Here we have the yearbook staff as they work to complete their set for the trunk or treat for last Monday night. It is a well-deserved break from the stress of working on this year's upcoming yearbook that we are thrilled to get our hands on. Up next is an interview with yearbook staff member Allison, who talks about her experience with the yearbook this year.
What are some struggles about working on the yearbook?
Scheduling and being able to get to events like after school and stuff. If we have after school commitments, it's hard to get there.
So do you guys not have like the schedules for this stuff, or do you get them and it's like a bit too late, or what's the deal with
We
that?
get them, but like getting there, like if I have work after school, sometimes it's hard to get to the events and record it.
So how are you able to get like the interviews with people, like pictures of them, of the interviews for the yearbook?
People are pretty willing to get them. They don't like quotes.
Why do you think they are like uncomfortable with getting the quotes?
I think that they just can't come up with anything on the top of their head, so it takes them a while.
Fitting. And so like, how do you arrange the clubs? How are you going to arrange the clubs and sports for this year's yearbook?
They're all getting like a page or a picture, so we're just going to go into Yearbook Avenue, put everything there, and organize it.
And our last question here, is there any other certain way to set up the yearbook other than like by class?
I don't know. I don't make the yearbook spread decisions like where everything goes, but I mean we always change up the order.
So I'm gonna assume the person that like makes all those directives is the teacher of the yearbook.
And then he assigns it, and then we have to do it.
So does he like separate you guys into like different groups to cover different things, or how's that work out?
So we were assigned partners based if we're in journalism or photography, and then we each get a spread in like a sport and then a bunch of clubs that we have to cover.
Oh, that's really interesting. So for journalism, is it just like they pull the quotes from people, or do they go to the sports?
They go to the sports too. They interview and they write down things that are happening, and then the photography takes pictures.
And that concludes our segment for today's episode. We just want to thank Ms. Darty and Mr. Tankersley for giving us the opportunity to film in their room in their yearbook staff and giving us the opportunity to interview one of their staff members. This is Landon and Tyler signing off, and have a great rest of the day.
I'm so excited to see what this year's yearbook is going to be like. What about you, Tarlin?
I think it's going to be a hoot.
Anyways, thank you for tuning in this week on UTC.
I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as we do producing it. We are West Creek.